little sleepy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, chasing kids around. That'll do it. My 3-year-old is problem solving with complete sentences. And, of course, always a question.
Yeah.
Yep.
It happens.
Why this? Why that?
Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Jesus, stop.
It's never going to stop.
No.
Does it stop?
No.
No? Okay, so I got a 3-year-old. Do you have a 15-year-old?
Yeah, 14.
14-year-old?
Yeah.
And it's still just, why? Why this? Why this?
Yeah. She's getting a little better about it just because now she's gotten to the teenager I don't care stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, she's like, you could walk in and, I mean, something happens. She's like, what happened there? And you're like, I'm not really sure. She's like, all right, cool. And she just kind of like, she doesn't really care anymore. She's at that teenage years, which is great.
No, you don't have to have an explanation on top of an explanation on top of another explanation.
You don't. You don't have to. Sorry, had to move my mic around. So what's been going on, buddy?
I've been watching way too much TV, I think. I don't know. I watch TV, but at the same time, I read and I get away from the device too. But I couldn't help myself. I saw them. Heard of the movie Prey?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very different.
Yeah?
So, like, you watch the old Predator movies, and it goes into detail as far as figuring out, like, what the other person has to do to actually take down a predator.
Right.
And, like, it goes into detail like that, like teeing up all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But, like, if you compared the movies side by side, they don't really make sense. But their text's different, too. So I guess that kind of helps a little bit. Yeah.
I never was a big, like, those are my type of movies.
Not a big sci-fi guy?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Which is aliens versus Indians?
Yeah, like, no, not doing all that.
Okay.
No, not my thing, man. Not my thing. I like weird movies. That's what I kind of dig on. If it's a weird, like, quirky movie, I like it. That's why I liked Elvis so much.
Elvis.
Yeah, the one that just came out.
I haven't seen that.
It's very not what you would think it would be, and I liked it.
So I can't remember what the name of that movie is. I'm getting distracted already, like in the middle of my own sentence. But Modern Family, that's the guy who plays Elvis. There's a teenager.
Oh, yeah?
Or one of the teenage girls kind of has a bad boy phase, and that guy keeps coming back. Like, he gets out of the picture, and he comes back in the picture. And, like, it's the guy who plays Elvis, but it's him when he's a teenager, and his character is a complete dummy. Like, an airhead dumb.
I'm glad I didn't see that, because I would have, like, messed it up really bad.
Yeah. Well,
I pigeonhole people really bad. Like, if I watch movies, I'm a pigeonhole.
You put them in a box?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. It's pretty rough. I do it all the time. I can't. Once I see it, I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
But like, I watched that movie Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler in it, and all I could see was Happy Gilmore. Like, I was just like, why is Happy Gilmore like a gambler now? What's going on?
You're just waiting for him to make you laugh.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do it. No. It's good, though, because I haven't seen the movie, obviously, but if you see the advertisements or, like, trailers. I don't know why I call it advertisement. No. But, like, he's a full-grown man.
Yeah.
In Elvis.
Yeah. You
can tell that. And, like, in Modern Family, he's still a kid.
Yeah.
So, that'd have been... I haven't seen it, but it's probably going to be... It just takes some adjustment period.
All right, so we went over this. I think we went over this on the other podcast. But I'm curious to get your answer about this. Okay. I'd like to feel it. So, time period, right? Doesn't matter. You can pick any time period you want. Where do you think you're thriving? Like, what if they walked up and went, all right, we invented a time machine. You can live in any time period you want. Does not matter. Like, we're going to take you back to whatever, whether it be middle, I mean, like Dark Ages, whether it be like Braveheart times, whatever that is. You can go back to the 60s. You can go back to Jesus times. Whatever, you pick it. We're going to put you there. And you're going to be that's where you're going to live. Like, where are you picking?
Well, see, there's so many different answers to that.
Yeah.
So, are we talking about, like, just you said thrive, so like there's times that I would enjoy, but then as far as like thriving, those are two different things to me.
This is where you're in your element. Like this is where like you got a good shot at being the man here.
Okay, so I got two options.
Okay.
So either right after the first depression, first depression, right after the depression. So like the
40s,
the 30s to 40s,
yeah, 40s.
Right? But so the time travel question is like if me and all my collective knowledge right now, if they'd sent me back right now and what I know, or like your age,
like the 90s.
Yeah.
So you're not going back far.
So one of the two. So
okay.
I like the classic American gangster. You know.
Yeah. So you're not going back far. You're not going back out of this century.
No, hell no.
Really? I'm surprised at that.
So this is why. So as far as thriving goes, like I don't like try to be cocky about it, but the principles for making money and keeping money and then investing money, I'm not bad at. Right. I'm not great at it, but I'm definitely above the normal person, and I've done pretty good for myself in great and shitty economies in my own lifetime. Mm-hmm. So I think like having that collective knowledge that I have now, if I went back to the 90s before information was easily accessible, I would be first and good at it. So like I can make lots of money.
So I missed your So I missed your question. I'm sorry. I missed your question. No, you can't take information back with you.
No, I'm talking about like.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you can't take like knowing that Apple's going to blow up.
Oh no. Not like that. Not like that. Just like I feel like
yeah. Okay.
Knowing kind of like how a business runs and like how a market works a little bit. Like, like I said, I'm not a genius by any means, but understanding how those particular problems can be solved in a good, like, in a productive way. I really do think that like the 90s, like I said before, everybody and their mother could just Google something. I think I could definitely get ahead.
Nice. Yeah.
As far as thriving goes.
Yeah, that's I'm surprised. I am surprised by your answer.
But like for the 30s, like there's a whole different element. You get it because we've had conversations off camera, but like there's a whole different type of mindset from back then. Yeah, like everyone depended on everything was a chess match with every person because everyone. They may have not been smarter as far as what they could get a hold of, but they could. Everybody had a presence, and every conversation was like a chess match, or like, I mean, that's the best way that I can put it. And that mindset is pretty much gone unless you just talk to like the older people that are around, and you're just like, wow, you're just entertaining to be around. Well, that's before there was entertainment, So you've got these type A's that could literally. As soon as they walk into a room and they start talking and they'll hit you with a one-liner or they'll have a conversation or they'll tell a story, but the details are so well and it's captivating, and then you can see how it creates like a draw around because people developed showmanship. It didn't matter what it was that you did, you had to be your own person. Like branding, it is and it isn't easy because the camera turns off now. Yeah. So like, I mean, there's a whole nother world. I bet the 1930s were awesome.
Yeah, I can see how they'd be cool. I wouldn't want to be back. I wouldn't want to be back there, but me and you are the complete opposite because I said I would stay as far away from as I could away from like that era or like cowboy days. I would stay as far away from that as I could. But those were the two that I didn't want. But like the one I picked was I definitely would go back to like Viking times. Like that would be
Viking. You think you would thrive in Viking times?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, yes, I would. That's where I'd want to go. It's like I'd want to go back Viking style.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd definitely be cool.
Yeah, that's where I'd head though.
But why? So you think you would thrive? I don't know why you think you would thrive. This has got to be good.
I would probably, well, the reason I think I would thrive is because just what you said, their mindset. Like, I should be able, like, if you're an idiot, I should be able to kill you. Like, that's how this works. Like, and you can back then. Who's going to arrest you?
Exactly.
You
just have to have the biggest stick.
It was the, back then it was, not even survival of the fittest. It was like.
Survival.
Yes, it was survival. And if you weren't smart enough, if you weren't brave enough, if you weren't big enough, you were out.
Yeah.
Like, and now we're not in that anymore. Like, now the dorks are running the playground, you know, and it drives me crazy. Because I'm just like, I don't think that, like, bullies should win. But we were talking about this on a podcast I was doing before. I don't think bullies should win. I don't think there should be bullies. But you need a little bit of bullying. You have to. So, like, here's the best way to explain it. And this is how we explained it the other night when we were talking about it. So the kid with the pink and green polka dot hair, it's okay for him to wear that now.
Yeah.
And that's half of our problem. Is just everybody can do everything, and everybody's got to be okay with it.
So you're saying nothing. So things just go and work their way out more and more and more because nobody puts anybody in check anymore. Is that what you're saying?
You need to be put in check. Like, so the guy with the green and pink polka dot hair, he comes to school and everybody celebrates that now. Where, like, before you'd be like, "Hey, fuck stick." Sorry, Pam. What are you doing?
Hey, like, I had platinum highlights.
Yeah,
in junior high,
and that's okay.
Hey, kids are mean.
Yes.
And if you're not going to be tough enough to just deal with it, then you get tough enough from it.
Yeah,
right?
and if you come in wearing a tutu and your hair all jacked up and stuff, hey man, I'm not saying everybody has to conform, but also at the same time, get your life together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we've lost that. We've lost that. Like. Just everybody's got to be okay with everything, and that drives me crazy. It drives me nuts.
What year were you born?
81.
81. So you are a Gen X?
Yeah.
And I'm a millennial. And I will tell you, me personally, most of my friends are your age or older.
Right.
And I mean, outside of maybe 2 relationships in my entire life, I've ever sustained, like, some type of friendship with someone my own age for more than, like, a year.
Yeah.
And they're weird.
Yeah. It is.
But like, I get it. Like, we were, like, that first everybody gets a trophy generation.
Right.
Bullying awareness. Like, I mean, like I said. But, like, we are now the prime age for the people that should be doing the most in this country. Some of us are, and most of us are. The mindset's different too. Like, the culture is very different. But in the household I grew up in, hard work was it was glorified.
It was glorified.
Yeah. Like,
sure.
Even to a point to where hard work almost, like, it doesn't. And I've learned this as an adult, but my hard work muscle, it's worked out. I get it.
Yeah.
I can do it. It's just a part of who I am. But even to the point, it's glorified even to the point, or at least in my head, or how I perceive it, that I'm now unlearning that. But hard work almost even beats being just smarter.
Right.
Like, that's how, like, my mindset is. And now I'm learning, like, well, you can have a good idea and not have to work as hard.
Right.
Like, and then maybe this is coming with age thing, but almost everybody that I've ever crossed paths with that's my age, they think they're really smart, but they don't ever put in any work.
Right.
It's like everybody can set the world on fire, but if you only show up to work 3 days a week,
it doesn't work out.
I don't care. You're lazy. Like, I don't know. Like I said, there's a gap.
And that's like I said, that's just the thing that kills me, man. And I guess the positive thing that I've noticed, especially with my daughter, is you hear all this kids these days, but if you actually watch them as a group, and, like, you know, when my daughter doesn't know I'm watching and I'm somewhere and her friends are there and stuff, I have seen firsthand that pendulum is finally starting to swing back the other direction, where they're not as butthurt as the previous. You know what I'm saying? They're coming back more to the, like, everything's not a catastrophe, and then everything's not. Oh, I got trauma from this. No, you didn't have trauma. It's just shit that happened.
You know, age thing.
I don't know.
Or do you think it's a generational swing?
Yeah, I think it's just coming back because I think they're looking at the generation before and going, Jesus, like that. It's just like. Like it was.
You don't have to. I mean, you don't have to apologize. Like
no. But I think they look at the generation before and just go, "Shit, man! Like, what are they doing over there?" Because it's just like you don't want to do the shit your parents did, right? Neither did I. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like they're doing the same thing. They've got to that point where they're like, ugh, like, I don't know if I want to do that. So they're a little more. They're a little more caring than my generation was, but they're also. A little tougher than the generation after me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They're getting that toughness is coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
Where and I'm not even talking about toughness as much as I am like they can bust each other's balls and nobody gets their feelings hurt. You can just bust balls and it's fine. Like it's cool, man. Where the generation before, I feel like you start busting balls. Next thing you know, there's a protest.
Everything's personal.
Or somebody's getting kicked out of school. And you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, everything's personal.
Yeah, you can't bust somebody's balls now. Like it's
I know.
But no, as far as my generation is really, as I keep getting older, it's the weirdest generation to grow up in. I will tell you that. It's been the oddest generation to grow up in because you have my parents who are the last of those old school, like tough
war hero,
vetted group. And they're just like this.
No emotion
at all. It's growing up with brick walls, you know what I'm saying? And then on the other side of us, you've got these freaks that are bothered by everything. And so we're just stuck in the middle of them. It's like having two parents that argue all the time. It's that. Like, because the younger group is not arguing with our group.
No,
they're arguing with our parents.
Yeah, boomers and millennials are just like.
So like, we're just that lost kid stuck in the middle, just going
watching.
Is everybody okay? Like, what's going on? Like, that's why you look and there's not a lot of people that have in my age group that have a lot of friends outside of this age group because you're just like. Let's just hang here. Like, it's crazy over here, and it's crazy over here. Let's just hang out right here.
It's like the same curve, and you're like, y'all are extremists, and y'all are extremists. What is going on?
Yeah, why don't we just meet in the middle, man? Wouldn't that be the better thing to do? Like, it's...
And you know what's funny about that? Old and young both, their minds are made up.
Yeah.
There's no and no one even has the ability to sit and keep their mouth shut and listen.
Everybody's got to have an opinion.
And if they do, they're just waiting to talk. They're not even, they don't even want to hear you out. There's no such thing as like actually having a debate about something. It's no, they're 100% not moving and they're 100% not moving and they're just getting loud at each other.
If you're not with me, you're my enemy.
Yeah,
you're like, what?
Which is a terrible mindset.
That's a terrible mindset.
Like, you don't have anybody to talk to because there's not two people that are going to see eye to eye on everything. It's terrible.
Anybody that I'm telling you right now, there is nothing in my brain that my mind can't be changed.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I bust everybody's balls about movies and shit and all that. I do. And that's fine. But like, I'm not saying that I can't have my mind changed. Like, that's crazy. You know, like, I got my mind changed on anything. Like, there's nothing I can't have my mind changed on.
But you listen. And you're like, okay, this is an opinion. This is a fact. I'm going to do some deductive reasoning and some critical thinking, and maybe my opinion might change.
Yeah.
Like an adult, but with completely formed abilities to navigate a conversation with another adult.
Yeah. And I think that's what I guess that's where I was going. I didn't know how to say it. You said it better than I did. I didn't know how to say it, but I think this generation, that's like the teenagers now.
Yeah.
You know, the freshmen, the sophomores of high school. I mean, the juniors now. I think it's headed the other way, where it's coming more back to like I can listen to what you're saying.
That's because the ones in high school now they're raised by Gen Xers.
They're growing up with these wackadoos that are just like they're like, oh God, you know, like. But yeah, I think it's coming more back to the middle where it's like, hey man, just listen to people. Like don't just fly off the handle.
Well, let me paint a perfect example for you. So you're a dad. You have a teenager, and then there's my entire generation, which is flooding the workforce right now.
Yeah.
I am would like to not identify.
Sure.
I don't want to pretend, but unfortunately, I'm a millennial. But there's a lot of crazy and extreme ideas that come with a lot of the millennial generation.
Sure,
a lot of
sure.
new stuff that just a lot of it's actually regenerated socialist stuff.
Right.
That they think.
Right.
Anyways, besides the point. I'm not getting into political, but they're just. You're the parent. It's my phone.
No, it's mine. I see. Keep seeing it go off. And I'm like, what the hell
So
is going on?
you're the parent right now. You see examples of the workforce pop up on the news because this crazy story or this or that, and the age pops up, and then you turn and you look at your daughter who's sitting there, and you go, "You see that?
Don't do that.
That's dumb. This is why." Coming from a Gen X's mouth, talking about a millennial to a Gen Z.
Yeah. And hopefully, like,
We're the mistake, or not mistake, but we're the bad example that you see on TV now. And I guarantee you, most things that go down or the bad news on the news are someone that's about my age.
Yeah, and what's weird is the thing that sucks about us raising people is we have a very nonchalant, I don't care attitude. You know what I'm saying? So my daughter comes in, she's like, so and so did this. I'm like, yeah, blood shit off your back. You know, and so she just does. But that's also sets a horrible example because we're going to end up in the same position we are before, where you have look at our political system now. You have the 1% over here that's wackadoos. You have the 1% over here that's wackadoos, and then you got the people in the middle who are just like, what's happening? But these are the loudest mouthpieces.
They're the ones arguing.
They're the ones that get the most attention. You know, when in reality, all these problems that we quote unquote have, it's very few people that have these problems. Most people right in the middle.
Thin slice of that big pie.
Yeah, but that's
almost miss it.
That's the ones that get the most attention. So I think people are like, we have all these problems. It's like, no, they have all these problems. I got to go to work. You know, they have all these problems. I'm busy trying to make a paycheck. You know, I don't care about whatever all that shit is.
The average stiff.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, I think we're raising another group of what? I don't care. You know, that kind of thing. I don't care. And that's bad because you do need some people to step up and go, this is crazy.
Well,
what's happening?
I mean, not to get into conspiracy theories or anything, but everything that we have access to is funneled through someone who probably has an ulterior motive.
Yeah, has an agenda.
So, literally, we haven't had, in my opinion, but we haven't had, unadulterated information in years. Yeah. Everything has had somebody else look at it. You've had 20 people decide that this is something that you should or shouldn't watch before you even get access to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, that's the whole, spread fear or, worry or, you have someone have a product pop up in front of them in their face their entire lives, and when they're 20 and have money in their pocket, they're probably going to buy that product.
Right.
It's like I said, it's just it's a big game.
Sure.
But I'm not gonna get too out there with it.
We got super out there.
That's
all right.
I probably keep going.
Oh yeah, I can keep going on this for a long time. Just because, like I said, I feel like I just feel like we got away from too much stuff. Yeah. We're too far into the everybody needs to be accepted. It's no. Yeah. No, wackadoos are wackadoos, and we need to identify wackadoos.
But they also have their own place in society.
They do. They have their own place.
It's
but they need to be in that place.
For instance, they talk about toxic masculinity, and that's. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for anything, all mindsets and perspectives. Mm-hmm. If someone's about to bust down your door. Yeah. And you get a perfectly good example. Say I was an average millennial guy, and I made sure that I considered everybody's feelings. I got all my participation trophies. I felt pretty good, even though I would work 60 hours a week and make the minimum because I never would venture off and learn anything on my own, and I would just drink the Kool-Aid.
Right.
And then some guy's like, wow, that guy, he's small, he's weak, he's feeble. He has something that I want, and he decides to kick down my door and say, I've never had a boxing lesson, I didn't own a gun. And I like all these things that one extreme are like, you should never hit anybody or raise your hand to anyone. Right. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that I like beat on people. But like, I also took up boxing because I felt like maybe I should learn how to throw a punch.
Sure.
Okay. But like, a lot of my generation, they completely disown any of that way of thinking. Like, oh, well, the government's always going to be there for me. If anything goes wrong, I can call the cops. You know, they only have a 20-minute responance time out here. Who knows what could happen in that?
Yeah, 20 minutes is a long time.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
But you know, if I was just a feminine guy who was so worried about what society thought of me that I would change everything about myself, I wouldn't be able to defend anybody that broke into my house because toxic masculinity is a thing. And you see, like, there's an extreme for everything. That's all I'm saying. There's an extreme.
There's an extreme for everything, and that's a big thing in my book. That like, I don't know what's wrong with being a dude all of a sudden.
Yeah,
like all of a sudden being a guy is a bad thing, and I'm like, why is being a guy a bad thing? Like I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I think another big reason for that is like the prime fighting age is like people my age and like all the way to 18 right now, and I think they're taking, maybe it's just a conspiracy, but you know, if you put junk in the food and in the water, and then you teach everybody that violence is bad, and then you take away all their guns and all their abilities to assemble, like 2 years ago, like, we are slowly but surely, little bitty pieces of our freedoms are getting picked away, and then if they're not getting picked away legally, they're being cultural abnormalities. So that way, if law enforcement or like the government doesn't get you, then your neighbor will hate you for all the other stuff.
Right.
And so between those two things, another 15 years from now, who's to say, okay, we have an entire generation of soft people who get spoon-fed everything that they believe. We have sheep.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's why I think, that's just my personal opinion, why I think that culturally, like, masculine men are, like, they get, I guess, bullied is not the right word, but, you know.
Yeah, no, it's the exact right word.
They get judged.
Yeah,
just
it's the exact right word.
Like, Garrett, here's a perfectly good example.
Yeah.
He was born, he's a fucking monster. If he put his hands around my neck and he was mad and squeezed,
it's a tough spot.
I would die.
Yeah, it's a
like
tough spot,
he probably could break my neck with his hands.
Yeah.
That, like, he's just naturally that way.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's frowned upon now. Nobody needs to have their neck picked up and broke or whatever. I'm not saying that, but a guy like him who's naturally that way. And
but there's a time. But that's the thing. There's a time and there's a place where that does matter.
You need that guy. You need that guy. Yeah, and we're slowly losing those guys to the point where when we need those guys, they're not there.
Yeah.
You know? But you need a Garrett every once in a while, like, oh shit's going down. Hey, giant guy, like, this is where you jump in. Like, go crush somebody's skull. Like, and they go, oh, okay. Then that's when that's their thing. You know, and that's slowly going away. And like, people like him are looked at as like assholes and like, oh, you know, this guy is some kind of, you know, he's a bully. You know,
he's a brute.
He's a bully. You know, and you're like, Garrett's not a bully. He's just a man's man. You know,
he's a fucking wall with legs.
Yeah, he's a man's man. You know, he's a guy he's a guy. You know, that's a man. You know what I'm saying? That's a man.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's super weird. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that are like accepted now that I never would expect it to be. Like, and there's a lot of things that are frowned upon now that I never expect to be either.
Yeah, it's strange. We live in the weirdest of times right now. This is a weird time, but Also, I wouldn't want to live any other time. I mean, I say where would we thrive, but I'm saying like I wouldn't want to live anywhere else right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of a cool place. We have things that jump to space and back, and you can just look stuff up on your phone. You can order food whenever you want. We have an unlimited supply of that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I don't know. I feel like that also makes people soft.
It does. It does make people soft. It makes them very soft. Like I'm not saying that I'm not soft, because unless I'm starving to death, I'm not killing anything, man. Like that's not even in my wheelhouse. Like. Now, my kiddo's starving, yeah, I'll go out and choke out a bunny, I guess. But I'm not, I'm just not going to go do it because I want to, And I have no problem with anybody that does, man. You want to go kill a bunny, go kill a bunny. But
me and my wife, we actually used to keep meat rabbits.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I heard rabbit this is a weird thing I heard, and I don't know if it's true, but I heard rabbit is the only meat you could starve on. You can starve to death eating rabbit because it's so lean that you can actually starve to death eating rabbit. I've heard, I don't know if that's true. I wish I could look it up.
It might be wild rabbit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not like Peter Cottontail.
No,
but I'm talking about wild rabbit. Like if you got stuck out on Alone style,
you were done.
Yeah,
if you just had an endless supply of rabbits.
Yeah, I don't think you make it. I don't think you make it, man.
That kind of makes sense though, because they just run around.
Yeah,
for about 3 years and die of a heart attack.
I don't know if that's true or not. I wish I could look it up. I'm not going to take time to look it up, but I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere, and I was like, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
Because the meat's so lean that there's no fats in it. There's no
you're filling up your belly, but it's going right through.
Right. There's nothing sticking.
It's kind of like what is that? What's that? Watery hair that you bite into? It's a vegetable. I'm just trying to think of what it's called.
I don't know.
You make ants on a log with it.
Ants on celery?
Celery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you lose calories eating celery. It's got like -5 calories a serving.
What the hell is an ant on a log?
You don't know what ant on a log is?
I don't.
So you take celery and you chop it up, in little 2 or 3 inch sections, and then you fill it with peanut butter.
Okay.
And then you put raisins in the peanut butter.
Okay. Oh, an ant on a log.
Ant on a log.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is an ant on a log?
I didn't say analog. I said analog.
No, yeah. So I was like, what the hell is an ant on a log? I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I had no idea. Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's just a little grade school snack, but that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Now, when we kept rabbits, we would let them. So we would we had them off the ground. They were in pens, and then they could. Their whole pregnancy was only like 21 days. So that's where part of that term "breed like rabbits" goes. And then so you get like 5 or 6 at a time every 21 days, and then you wait a couple months and then do it again, so you don't like wear out your breeders. But we would generate like probably 10 pounds of rabbit meat a month.
Really?
Because we had like 3 or 4 sets of rabbits, and we would breed them, and then as soon as the babies were born, we would let them live for like 6 to 8 weeks, and that's like kind of the prime time for whenever we did it to slaughter them, because they got most of their growing done, but they're still young enough so the meat's super tender and juicy. Huh. So yeah,
so you kill the babies?
Yeah. So we would have breeders, and then and then like the litters, we would let them get to like where I guess they'd be like a teenager,
right?
An adolescent,
right?
And then we would slaughter them.
Oh,
this is where my brain say kill babies.
No, this is where my brain went. So my brain went. I thought you let them get to like 6 or 8 weeks old, and then you kill off mom. Like, all right, gotta go. Like, and then those guys take the place.
I mean, every once in a while, maybe, but it's actually, well, I guess the environment wasn't 100% good for us, but like, I don't know, just certain things. As far as like, if you get a female, you get one female, you just keep her forever, and then like you could put a male on her, and then like it just wouldn't take. And so like eventually you'd rotate the ones out that don't really make litters all that often, or they got a hard time, or like they don't make as many as another one. Like, all right, well, it's time for you to go, and then we're gonna keep this one back and put it in that cage, and then in a couple months or in a few months, whenever they're however old they are to get bred, we're gonna see if this one does better. Huh. But yeah, it was a fun experience. We probably did it for like almost, I don't know, probably 10 months.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty soft when it comes to stuff like that.
We've, I mean, my grandfather, he slaughtered two calves this last year.
Nice.
He's got like 2 freezers full, and it's just all cow.
Now that I can get behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get behind that. That's awesome.
He, like, the other day, he gave me like a half brisket, a couple steaks. He's like, here, how much do you need? He bought a chest freezer. He opened it up. He's like, how many pounds of ground beef do you need? He opens it up, and it's to the top.
Oh, it's
like
crazy.
It is just completely full from bottom to top in 1 pound bags of hamburger meat. Just like the whole chest is full. Completely.
That's freaking awesome, though, man.
And he's like, hey, they can say what they want, but we will not go hungry.
Yeah.
He's right.
That's crazy, man. My parents, they used to buy they didn't buy a whole cow. They would buy a quarter. What is it called? Quarter or something?
Yeah. You do
hind quarter.
A side.
Hind quarter is what it was called. They would get those.
So you get like a roast.
Yeah, you got a bunch of shit. It would fill up a whole freezer.
You said a bunch of shit.
Yeah, it'd fill up a whole freezer for sure.
It's like jerky meat, ground beef.
No.
Oh god,
it was all good.
Like I said, he did two calves. I was like, oh my god, it's a lot of money. Or not a lot of money. That's a lot of cow.
Yeah, yeah.
Chat.
Hell, that hind quarter was a lot, and it's only like just the hind quarter. You know, like it's.
Also, probably a little bit more because they bought it. He took his cows and had them slaughtered.
Yeah, yeah. I mean. Excuse me. I would think so.
Something I want to try soon. I want to get into feeder pigs. Like, I probably wouldn't do it here on this property, but, like, the property I'm going, I might do it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, yeah, local trappers, pig hunters or whatever, they'll come across pigs or they'll trap some. You go buy a feral pig for, like, $40, and then you feed it out for 6 to 8 months, and it gets 150, 200 pounds. I don't know how big or how fast they would grow, but you get it nice and big and then go and slaughter it.
Yeah.
You just feed it out and slaughter it. I want to do that.
That's what a lady that we work with. That's what her husband does. Not feral pigs, but he does. What he does is so you got the FFA pigs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the show pigs.
The show pigs. So the ones that don't place. Mm-hmm. These kids are just like, the hell am I going to do with a pig? You know.
Well, they only make offers on the ones that win.
Yeah, exactly. So what he does is he goes in and makes offers on the ones that lose. You know. So he just walks in and goes, "Hey, I'll buy your pig off of you for $100, $150."
And then he goes and he puts meat in the fridge.
And the kid's like, "Hell yeah!" You know, because what are they going to do with the pig? You know. So and plus you're offering this kid $100 for something he's going to get rid of anyway. So he's like, "Hey, I'll give you $100, $150 for the pig or whatever, $75, depending on how big they are. I'll give you that for the pig." And he goes in with a wad of cash, you know, and just peels it off, hands it to him, takes the pig off their hands. And then what he does is he takes orders. So we've done it with him before.
Yeah.
Where he takes the pig order, and what he does is takes it back to his place. All those pigs are all jacked up on like hormones and stuff because they're show pigs. So what he does is he feeds them out for a few weeks, and apparently
that shit get out of their system.
Once their shit turns a certain color, you know,
it's out.
That means everything's gone. And as soon as he does that, takes them to the slaughterhouse, and then they send. He's like, "All right, I've done my part. I fed them. I got it all done. They're at the slaughterhouse. Go pick it up when you're ready." Like, they'll send you a cut sheet, you know, and like, so they send you this cut sheet. You tell them how you want the pig cut up, you know, like what you want, all that stuff. And then you send it back in. You go pick it up a few weeks later and give him basically his time. You know, he charge you for his time
and the feed
and the pig, you know, like to whatever the pig costs. So it usually winds up costing you $500, you know. But you get an entire pig.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
We have a cousin, or I guess my wife's cousin. She's actually going to school to be an FFA teacher. Uh-huh. But she showed chickens, she showed pigs. And I remember being on vacation one time whenever the whole group was together, and I was just eating, and I was like, there ain't a lot of fat on this bacon. And she was like, yeah, that was last year's show.
Yeah.
That is very normal.
Yeah, that's what he does. Like I say, he goes in and gets the pigs that don't place, and like these kids, they have to do something with them.
Well, you know what's funny about that?
Might as well sell them off.
And this, I've got a little. I had a horse in this race. I tried showing a little bit whenever I was in school because I was an FFA. I feel like where it started and where it is now, like, I guess if you're trying to look for it, but most teenagers, I would assume, wouldn't be. They're just participating in something, you know. But I feel like it started as a way to understand what it was like to take care of an animal.
Yeah.
It get to a certain point, and then like you selling that animal, or like you feeding a family with an animal. Like I mean, I get it. You know, you want like good muscle tone, and you want the right coat, and it's got to stand right, and all this other stuff. But like the amount of money that you make, even if you win, versus the amount of money that you spent for the papered animal, the right pen, the right feed, all of the time and exercise to build all the muscle on this thing, and like every single piece, like you spent $1,500 and you won and you made $500.
Right.
Like,
right.
I'm not a genius in economics, but if that was someone's livelihood, I would say that that's not going to work out. Yeah. And I just never, like, even whenever I was in school, I couldn't wrap my head around that. I was like, why did we spend, like, why didn't we just save the money?
You know,
and put it into FFA.
What's crazy is the same guy that I was telling you that does this with the pigs.
Yeah.
That, I mean, his wife works there. He doesn't work there, but his wife works there. That's their job. They're just where we work for the insurance. Their job is showing animals.
Yeah.
And like that's all they still do it. Like they have show animals and they go show them and make gobs of money, you know.
It's just weird.
And then what they do is just they take this champion and then it's a champion. So they sell it off. You know, like you get champion money for that. You know, like and now what they've gotten into is now they've really branched out, and now they don't even sell their champion off, because used to they would sell their champion off.
Sell like
now it's like
sperm.
Yeah, we'll sell the nut, but we're not selling the animal, but we'll sell the nut. You know, and so now they've gotten into.
They got a golden goose.
They went to all the classes and got certified and all that stuff. So now they can extract it, and like they know how to keep it where it doesn't, you know, and they know how to ship it and all that stuff. So they're like, yeah, and it's crazy because if they were to sell the animal, I mean, you're talking about. It's crazy to me what people pay for this kind of stuff, because they'll sell that animal. They'll sell that animal for $40,000-$50,000.
Yeah,
they've sold animals for hundreds of thousands of dollars before, and I'm like, for what? For a pig?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? Like, what are you doing? How good's the bacon? What are we talking about right now?
This bacon needs to be able to like pay my taxes for me. What's going on here? But no, I get it. Like, I don't know. It's just that was always so weird to me. But I guess it makes sense though, as far as like keeping the champion, because you got a golden goose. Hey, here's another golden egg. Hey, here's another golden egg. Hey, here's another golden egg. You're just like, hey, we did everything we needed to do. Now we have something that literally squirts money out of it.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. Like that's their whole existence revolves around is showing animals, still showing animals at this, you know, like. But it's crazy because they're so well known. They're such a well known, like when they go into a show barn, like you go into at the county fair and stuff, like when they walk in,
they're celebrities.
They're celebrities.
Yeah.
Like these people walk in and they're like, holy shit, that's them. You know, like that's the ones who have. They're well known. They're well known. I'm like, it's
like Joe Rogan walking into a podcast. Anything.
It still boggles my mind there's stuff out there that there are people that are like big into something and I know nothing about it. Like
complete cult-like followings.
Yes.
And you've never even heard
of it. And like that's how as small as this world is, that's still how big this world is you don't know shit. You know, you don't know shit about
anything.
About like there's things out there that you're like, that's a thing? And they're like, not only is that a thing, but that's how much is rich off of this. And you're like, how?
What?
How?
That's how one of my buddies he was when he got into disc golf.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's a plastic disc. You take it, you throw it, and then you try to get it in these chains, in this hole, right? You know, it's same basic premise as golf. You have drivers, putters, and all this other stuff. I'm not going to get caught up in those details, but like, they have tours, like the PGA.
Yeah.
Right? And as we're sitting here learning this new thing that I just want to do because I want to go to the park and just like stretch my legs every once in a while, my buddy, who is all or nothing, when he decides to pick something up, he's like, yeah, so-and-so, yeah, this is the disc that, like, whenever he picked him up at this time, you know, he got sponsored at this time, and then, like, he likes this particular plastic, and then, like, if he throws it this way, it does this, and, like, here on this tour, he does this, and these are the highlights of this meet, and then, like, I'm like, you just talked for 3 hours
about disc golf.
About people who do this for a living, and I have heard of none of them.
I didn't know they existed till today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy you say that. I used to work for a lady that her husband, or ex-husband, it was ex-husband at the time, they had gotten divorced, but her ex-husband was a professional putt-putt player.
That's a thing?
Like putt-putt, yeah. And they make bank. I mean, now you have to be the Floyd Mayweather. You can't be some jack-off that's just putt-putting, you know. But, yeah, he was like one of the upper echelon, like, players. And, yeah, he made a freaking killing. And he was a putt-putt golf player. Like, a professional putt-putt golf player. And I didn't even know it was a thing. And then, but it's weird how you never know something's a thing. And then once you know it's a thing, you start seeing it everywhere. You know? And it was a thing, like, I was like, I didn't even know that putt-putt golf existed, like as a professional
outside
sport.
of a playland,
outside of Kittyland. You know, I didn't know it was a sport. And then I'll be damned, I was flipping through ESPN one day. There it is, the putt-putt golf championship, and like sat there and watched it, and I was like, there it is. And the guy gets the end, 50 G's.
What?
Wins 50 G's for playing putt-putt. Shot at 18 or whatever, you know, just hold one every time.
It just goes to show you that there is something that you could be a professional at. You just have to find it.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out.
Sure, I guess.
Like, I'm sure I'm a natural at something where I'm like, even though I'm almost 30, I could plug at it for a couple years and be like the best in the world.
Yeah.
I just figure out what that thing is that I've never heard of.
Zombie killer. That's me.
You think so?
That's when I told you, that's when I become the man, the myth, and the legend.
You're going to be like Woody Harrelson on Zombieland.
I'm mediocre at everything I've ever done in my life, but I feel like as soon as the zombies get here, that's when you're going to see Michael Jordan is coming to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the form of a 41-year-old fat guy.
I'm going to be like, did he grow a foot? Yeah. Does he have a perfect flat top now? What just happened? He just changed into...
Yeah, I'm coming at you.
Michael Jordan.
I'm coming at you.
Zombie killing.
As soon as the zombies get here, that's when my name goes from no one knows me to I'm gonna be in the history books.
Zombie kill of the week.
It's gonna happen, man. It's the only thing I could ever think I would actually be good at. My brother's one of those guys that really pisses me off because he's one of those guys that's good at everything.
You gotta hate those. I got a cousin like that.
It makes me mad.
Everything he touches turns gold.
Everything he touches. Every single thing. It makes me so mad. Yeah, it makes me so mad. He can pick up. I've joked about it before. Like he could go out in the backyard and we could set up like a badminton. You know who plays badminton? You know what I'm saying?
Nobody, but he'll be the best.
Exactly. And he could walk out there and go, "What is this?" And the next thing you know, he's like just killing people left and right. And I'm like, "What's going on? How do you know how to play badminton? It's a little birdie thing. Like how do you know how to do that?" He's like, "I don't know. I just started messing with it." And like, okay, I guess. Makes me so mad. He's one of those guys that pisses me off.
I had my cousin. He same concept though. Everything he touches just turns gold. So 2 stories. He might get on to me for telling one of these, but I don't care. So I had been in the automotive field for a few years. I had kind of gotten a reputation for like showing up to work and doing my job. Like you would think it would take more to stand out.
Yeah.
But I'm a millennial, so it really doesn't.
Right.
But a local guy, he had a conversation with my grandfather, and he was like, "Hey, your grandson, he works on he's in the automotive field, yeah? Oh, yeah. And they talked back and forth or whatever. Well, in some way, somehow, there was a miscommunication where they talked about me when they had the conversation, but my cousin, who was just getting out of high school, was the number that the guy got.
Right.
And, one of his very first jobs out of school, he lands like a $2K a week in his pocket job.
Yeah.
And he
should have been yours.
And it was like a month or two later, he goes, "Oh, it's an accident." And I was like, "What are you talking about? We're sitting there riding in the car together. I'm getting paid pennies. I'm getting paid like a quarter of what he's getting paid at the time." He's like, "Oh yeah, you were the one that's supposed to show up." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, he thought that you were his grandson." Or he thought I was his grandson, but they were talking about you. But I showed up, and he kept me around this whole time, and now I have a job. I'm like, what the heck, man?
Yeah, could have been you.
Yeah. And then another time, he was working for one of our local guys who does AC work. And he's like one of the only guys in the area. So he cleans up during the hot months. The guy was tired of the job. He was like, "I just want royalties. You can take over the whole. I've been building this business up for the last 20-something years. You can take over the whole business right now and just give it to you." Mm-hmm. He's 18 years old.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Nah."
No.
But I'm like, this guy, but like everything.
Yeah.
He went to school for 2 years. Makes over 6 figures now.
Yeah. I've said that about my brother, man. He could fall ass backwards into something. And it's not because... He's really not because he's lucky. He's just a right time, right place guy.
Timing.
And not only does he have great timing, but he's got that natural ability to be good at stuff. So, it's one of those things where, just like that, they can walk up and go, "Well, you're going to have to work on these cars or whatever." My brother's never touched a car in his life. But he'll be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it." And they're like, "Can you work on cars?" "Absolutely, I can work on cars." And then he goes home and dicks around with the car long enough to go, "All right, I can work on one. I can pass."
I could do this.
And then he just, on the fly, gets better at things. He's like, "Okay, well, I guess I'm doing this now, so...
Better get good at it.
So then he just gets good at it. And I'm like, what the... Me, I could fumble fuck around, sorry, Pam, forever and never be good at it.
Yeah.
It's just irritating. It's irritating and cool all at the same time. Because you look at him and you're like, "God damn it, dude, that's pretty awesome." But at the same time, fuck off. Sorry, Pam.
No, I get it. I really do. I'm like that with music.
Oh, just like how you can play?
Yeah. There's never been an instrument that I've ever touched that I couldn't play in even the basics in a few hours.
There's never been an instrument I've picked up that I could play after a long time.
Yeah. I remember taking piano lessons whenever I was in the middle of high school, and I remember sitting down, and this person's like, "I've never really taught before," and then I remember I started playing, and she was like, "Do you know how to read music?" I was like, "Yeah, I learned how to read music, in school." She was like, "Cool," and then she was like, "So this is this, and this is this," and I was like, "Okay," and so this is how this works, and she's like, "Yeah," and then after 4 hours, she was like, "You're gonna be just fine. You don't need my help anymore."
Yeah,
you're good.
You don't need me anymore.
You're good. You understand how it works. You got it.
Yeah.
I've done that with the guitar, banjo, piano, drums, bass guitar. No, I like stringed instruments a lot. I played the French horn whenever I was in school, but I thought that was the lamest instrument that anyone could ever play.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, it's the hardest." I'm like, I still look like a loser. So I don't know that I want to be in band anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're wrapping this up.
Are we? What time is it?
8:40.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
What time do we start?
54 minutes ago.
54 minutes ago.
Yep. 54 minutes ago. Yeah. So,
Did you... Man, okay. I haven't seen you in 3 weeks, man. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. And, let's see. Hold on, I'm trying to find a stupid joke. Because Colton will get mad if we don't tell a stupid joke. Alright, there we go. I got one.
Okay, here we go.
You ready?
Hey, everybody listen, because
Yeah.
Kenneth is the one telling the joke.
I'm not. I'm telling you right now, this is a one-time thing.
Okay.
Colton's gonna have to figure it out because it's a one-time thing. All right. My grief counselor died. He was so good at his job, I don't even care. That's it.
Oh my God.
I feel like a lame-o telling that joke too. By the way.
Oh, I love that joke.
Nope, I'm out. Later.